time to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go!
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition. Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod. I'm your host, Josh, and we have our co-host Blake joining us this week. We are going over the Visions Volume 3 trailer, as well as a few other things that just popped up on the radar for this month in Star Wars, if you will. October 2025. We're just going to be having some nice casual Star Wars chat as usual. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Another happy landing.
自分のこれからの人生も希望に彩られていると思っていた。逆に見えなくても信じられるものもある。全部つながってるんだ。
どうしましょう。
そして死ぬな、それだけだ。
やっつけよう。
フォースの根源、銀河系のあらゆる生命をつなぐエネルギーとは
光と闇としてはバランスは存在しない。
私はどうしたら
フォースと共にあらんこと。
Welcome back.
Ahoy! It looked like there's some sequel storylines in there. Am I crazy? I recognize some stuff from previous Visions series.
Yeah, I mean, you would be right. There is 2 sequel episodes in this volume 3 to some of the episodes that we saw in season 1, I believe. So let's actually let's run through them here. In the meantime, before I pulled the list, like how did you respond to Visions Volume 1 and 2 when those came out?
I mean, I definitely enjoyed watching them. I certainly had preferences to some over others, and I guess I was part of a common opinion because my favorite one is the one that's getting the miniseries, so which I'm pretty excited about. That's gonna be super cool. It's like Seventh Jedi or something, right?
Yeah, the Ninth Jedi.
Ninth Jedi.
Yeah. So the first one on the list is the Duel Payback, and that was like the prominent one from Volume 1 that really received.
I think it was the first one of the series, actually.
I think so. That was the one that really spearheaded the series in general, just like artistically. That was the one that they played a lot of the trailer of.
Right.
That was the one at the Japan Star Wars Celebration this past year. People could buy the Celebration exclusive 6-inch series, you know, and
characters from it.
Yeah, and it was like
cool.
the exclusive box of like the main guy and his droid, and you know. So that's getting a sequel episode. That's Kamikaze
I thought I recognized the Twi'lek in that as well. It must be the...
Yeah, I forget. I honestly, I need to watch all those again. Like all the Vision episodes, like I need to go through all those again because it's been way too long. But The second episode on the list is called The Lost Ones. The other sequel that you're referring to is The Ninth Jedi Child of Hope. That one's by Production IG. Yuko's Treasure, The Smuggler, The Bounty Hunters, The Song of Four Wings, The Bird of Paradise, and the final episode's called Black. So
one of them had very Mega Man feels.
I'm assuming that's the Song of Four Wings. If I was to take a guess.
I mean, the clip we saw was a girl with a jetpack, so that would make sense.
Yeah, well, it was an X-Wing. She was like, she was the X-Wing.
It's four wings.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize it was an X-Wing.
Yeah, it was, I think, playing into that Transformers sort of Mega Man Voltron sort of thing.
Okay.
Someone's probably shaking their head right now, like,
right.
Oh, this guy knows nothing. I don't know. I don't know exactly like what it was like playing into precisely, but it certainly looked like she had a suit that transformed into
kind of like
an X-Wing.
Came onto her and turned her into a bit of a
kind of, yeah.
Was that an X-Wing that she just had like a jetpack?
It reminded me a bit of like Starscream from Transformers, where he like jumps up and like and then fires off as like a jet fighter type thing. Like,
it did have that, but before that, when the suit was like flying and attaching to her, it reminded me more of Iron Man.
Like in all the pieces.
Yeah, the later one where they automatically fly and attach to them.
Yeah, I can see that. Man, there's so much stuff in this trailer. It's kind of hard to unpack, honestly. Like
action packed.
Well, because it's an anthology series, like it's really hard to kind of take it in as which one's which and what are we looking at, and
I think
all of them are very
like arts, going by art style.
Yeah, and
they're all pretty different stylistically.
Definitely 100% the dual payback is the black and white ones.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see some Ewoks showing up in that one. I feel like the duel in general was like still very faithful to original Star Wars designs, other than the weapons. Like the lightsabers are crazy.
They're very crazy, yeah.
But then like a lot of the other stuff was fairly...
Was an umbrella lightsaber.
Yeah, it was like. Yeah.
This one, I think she had like an arm guard with spider legs holding lightsabers.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we got a shot of a Wookiee holding up an Ewok in this one, and man, all of these different episodes. So for someone who's never seen Star Wars Visions before, it is not canon. It is not designed to fit into the existing Star Wars lore or mythology as what you know it to be. But they are rather a collection of short films, all inspired by Star Wars, done by Japanese and international anime studios, using the Star Wars inspiration and designs and music to create their own story, however they want it to be, right? And they're completely creatively in charge of doing so. So with that in mind, you get some crazy like outcomes. Some crazy results out of that. And
we had a story about a kid who wanted to be in a rock band and play for Jabba's palace.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What there was a song that was like a pretty like, I don't know, that song slapped pretty hard. Like
I don't remember the music.
This is it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, this is it.
Most of them didn't have rock music. So.
Right.
Played live at Jabba's palace. One night only.
Featuring Max Rebo as our opener.
So I have a playlist called Warzone Drops, which
is this song in it?
No, but I'm adding it to it right now. So I don't know. Are you familiar with my Warzone Drops playlist?
No, but I immediately know what it's for.
So as you can probably guess, it's whenever we decide to pop in a Warzone or Fortnite or any battle royale, and
right where you're flying,
and we're all so bad, but we just try it out, and I'll play the music over the Discord call, and we'll just listen to that.
Nice.
Yeah, turn off that terrible in-game music, and it's awesome. I got some real bangers on that playlist.
Oh man,
Tatooine Rhapsody's one of them now.
It's funny because it autoplayed into this.
It autoplayed into Star Wars Eclipse
trailer, which I had entirely forgotten about.
Yeah, Bryce.
How long ago was that now?
Bryce was just talking about this.
3 years ago. Man.
That is one of our backup topics today.
Is it? That's funny.
All right.
It is now, I guess.
It is. Okay, so Star Wars Visions comes out October 29th later this month, which is very exciting because, you know, anyone who's looking to do a bit of a Halloween Star Wars party or anything like that, you know, you got something
Dress up as your favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah, you got something to throw on, and you know, that's kind of cool.
Do you remember those super cheesy Anakin and Obi-Wan masks and fat like cheap costumes they would do during the 3D Clone Wars?
Oh yeah,
did you ever get one of those?
No, well, I see at the point of when Clone Wars was out, I was at the point of being a little too old for those kind of costumes.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it would have been extremely dorky if I had gotten one of those in like high school, man. You know what I mean? But
I mean, you're such a big fan. Thought you would have went for it anyway.
I did make a clone trooper costume in grade 12 before the helmets got good.
Right, with the big wide lens.
Yeah, I had one of the full Captain Rex Phase 1 helmets from Hasbro. Okay. And it had the big, thick
I didn't know
visor.
They did Rex.
They did a Rex, yeah. Rex Phase.
I just remember the standard clone.
All right, so here it is. That one right there with the big, thick visor.
Yeah, that looks so goofy.
It looked so goofy, man. Like, I don't know why they did that. Like,
let's give you better vision when you're playing.
It is, but nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love the helmets nowadays. Like, you and I both.
The Hasbro Black Series ones?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I, of course, instantly bought Rex Phase 2 as soon as it came out. It was just like, at that point, it was just like I don't know.
Take my money.
I don't know if you ever get this feeling when you buy something of like that's Star Wars based, but it's destiny. Like it's just like it's more so it's like it's a tax. You know how you pay your taxes every year, and you know it's just like
you have a Star Wars tax.
You don't even. Well, actually, furthermore, at least where we're from, you don't really need to go out of your way when you get paid from your job, typically because the taxes are already removed, right? Like
unless you're running your own business.
Unless you're running your own business, but I think the majority of people can probably relate to getting a paycheck, taxes are already taken off, and you get some at the end of the year.
If you work for a company, they generally do that for you.
Yeah. So
and then you end up paying too much, and then government sends you a rebate at the end of the year.
Right. So that's the status quo for a lot of people. And I feel like it's like, okay, well, I already pay my taxes, right? When this helmet came out, it was like, oh, you've already made me make that purchase. Like, it was like, you already have my money. When is it going to arrive at my door? Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a tax.
For you and Rex,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, as soon as they come out with a Phase 2 Rex helmet, it's like, well, there goes that money.
They can charge anything and you'll be paid for it.
There it goes. Out the door.
Is there anything else that would fall under that? They're running out of helmets now, right? Unless they start doing more of the obscure ones.
Well, we can actually take a look at the whole list right here.
If they get into the obscure ones, I'm pretty excited about the tank trooper from Rogue One.
Oh man, well I think they're getting really close because they do have a shore trooper now.
Oh yeah, if they're doing that, that's probably the next biggest one.
I definitely posted it.
And then there's like there's like a one-off helmet from Solo with it's like a Corellian speeder bike cop helmet. It's like very specific.
Right. So the most recent ones is that is Moff Gideon from Mandalorian Season 3 and the Stranger from The Acolyte.
No, next to it. Oh, the Stranger. Yeah.
So the ones that have yet to come out are Commander Cody Phase 2, which
cool.
I did hear whispers that is now finally entering the US as far as distribution.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet with the 501st markings on it.
Man, it took a long time to get around to the Death Trooper.
Yeah, the Death Trooper will eventually be a thing next year.
This one came out.
The Shore Trooper is already out, and the Armorer from The Mandalorian is out. That one's already out.
That one's been out for a while.
That one's been out for, like maybe a year or something.
Have we looked into the quality of the Shore Trooper? Because I know some of these are kind of hit and miss.
I know that the Armorer has not been highly regarded.
Because it's got that gold.
Someone did a comparison with the Stranger helmet and the Armorer helmet, and the Stranger turned out better than the Armorer did. But that being said, our Mandalorian helmet, our Din Djarin helmet, turned out really well, and that's got a shiny finish on it too. So
that's true.
I think it's kind of hit and miss.
It's not a full chrome though.
No, it's not. No,
it's like a matte metal.
Yeah,
finish, a brushed metal.
Right.
It's one of those. It's one of those situations where I feel like they're gonna go for like a cheap plastic finish. You know what I mean? When they do like that.
Yeah.
It's gold. It's like a gold.
Yeah.
Mold of plastic.
It's a hard one to lock down for sure. But yeah, the tank trooper would be a pretty sweet one to do. Seeing as they've done the shore trooper now, this one, it's specifically the shore trooper from Andor.
It's not.
The box has the Andor label on it. Anytime you buy any of the Hasbro sets, they always have in the colored stripe that goes across the box on the image, they always have the movie or the show that it's represented from. So on the Vader helmet, the new 2.0 one, it's represented from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, whereas the original one over here, it's got one of those older boxes, and they previously didn't always do that, but this is from Empire Strikes Back, I believe.
Yeah.
And
because the short trooper from Rogue One has like some blue on the top, doesn't it? Blue around here.
I think they're all kind of the same. There is some of them have like little logos on them. I think one of them does have it's like a red painted logo on the forehead on the other side.
Okay.
I don't really know the details of the comparison between Rogue One and the Andor Shore Trooper, but this one is for if anyone really cares about the box. It does not say Rogue One on it. It says Andor. So yeah, just throwing it out there. However, the Death Trooper, I think, does say Rogue One.
Oh, really?
Across the stripe. Yeah, and you can usually tell based on the color. So Rogue One has all the action figures. If you look at the Rogue One action figure boxes, they all use like this teal. And Andor, they use this kind of orangey red. And
they're going to run out of colors eventually here.
Yeah, with Return of the Jedi, they always use bright green.
Yeah.
For the Ahsoka show, they do like a pale blue, kind of a navy pale blue. Mandalorian, they always use sort of a browny orange. And there's a few of the pictures on our list here that don't have the
box.
The box, and then the Clone Wars animated series is represented with orange strip across. That's their color that they use, I believe. But you can tell it's a blue helmet on the box, but it's got an orange stripe on it. And if you look over here at Carson Teva's helmet, it's the same color because they're both from the same series. So that way, if you line them up on the shelf, all the artwork on the side of the box that has the character represented, they actually match up. So if you have all the boxes in a row, it'll create sort of this panoramic image of all the characters.
Do you collect the boxes?
I recently threw all of my boxes out. I know.
Blasphemy.
I've been holding on to them for
they take up so much space.
Way too long.
Yeah.
And
I did the same at one point.
And I thought to myself, you know what? It's time. It's time to we're clearing out. We're getting AC installed. We're clear. I just got to get rid of these boxes. So eventually I did part ways with the boxes. And, realistically, I'm like, why am I keeping the boxes? Because it holds the value. Realistically, am I ever going to sell these? Probably not.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So what the heck? May as well just, forget it.
Your kids, when you pass away, will be upset because they'll be out extra cash selling all your stuff.
Yeah, that is true. Also, I just realized we have another guest joining us for this episode. So welcome back, Darian. Hello, sir.
Sakurigar, how are you guys doing?
Doing good, thanks, man. Yeah, hopefully, I hope you weren't lingering too long. We're staring at a video and then an image, so we didn't see the call thing, but. Welcome back.
No worries. It actually wouldn't let me join tonight, so it took me a while.
Oh, well, you're sounding great, and it's always great to have you back on. So, seeing as we're on the topic, do you collect any of these Star Wars helmets, or if not, the Black Series Hasbro replicas, or if not, which one is kind of a more favorite of yours?
Right now, my favorite's got to be the Cody helmet. I'm really disappointed I didn't notice that come up. Or Rex. Actually, Rex is hands down my favorite clone helmet.
Oh, man. Did you get a copy of it yet?
No, I've been pretty broke. They've been cutting my hours at work, so I've been working multiple jobs.
I think that it's still pretty new, so it'll be available for a while.
That's actually the exact one that Josh said when it came out. Like, you might as well it's a Star Wars tax.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you were there for that, but they had my money like as soon as they launched it. I was like,
as soon as the poster was there.
Yeah. But yeah, we got the full list in the general chat. I just poked it, so it's up at the top. But anyway, yeah. So we were previously to this. We got a bit sidetracked. We were talking a little bit about Visions Volume 3. What is it about Star Wars Visions that appeals to you?
I'm not really a big fan of anime, but I do love the concept that we're getting the same thing that Marvel was doing, where we can explore stories that are a what if in the Star Wars universe. To me, that is very exciting. I just wish it was a little less anime, personally.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. I guess with the Marvel one, they still have this what if scenario still ties into this Marvel multiverse, and in a universe somewhere it still happened, and it's still sort of Marvel multiverse canon in a way. But yeah, this one is very like for the Star Wars universe, where like fans are very very like, I guess sometimes a little strongly positioned in sort of like what's canon, what's not, and whatever, and somewhere everyone falls under this this what do you call it, like a spectrum somewhere about how much you care about that kind of stuff or not,
like your personal canon.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, as far as Visions is concerned, it's kind of taking the opposite direction in terms of like, well, we're making this without any consideration at all for who considers what canon, because we're just going to do what we want, and we're just going to tell the best story possible with whatever art style we want to do. And for Volume 2, there was actually some international studios that worked on Visions, which weren't specifically anime. There was that one from England, actually, who's mostly known for Wallace and Gromit.
Yes.
But they did a Star Wars one too, and that was kind of an interesting one. You got some pretty crazy, visual depictions of things sometimes, depending on which studio you're watching and how they approach their art form and stuff. But anime is not for everybody. It's certainly not really my thing.
It almost becomes like just an animation Star Wars film festival.
Yeah, it kind of does. In fact, it really does, and I almost kind of wish they harnessed that a bit more. I feel like they should do like a voting,
one?
like like pick your top 3, and then they give some sort of like Star Wars award to like that one. You know what I mean? Like, I think engaging with the fans on like a level like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Lucasfilm used to be a lot better with that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I believe they actually used to do exactly that.
Yeah, they used to do the Fan Film Awards.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
You could get lucky and get the George Lucas personal pick.
That's right.
There also was a group a couple of years ago that was basically doing that themselves. I believe the Bucketheads were asked to help decide who was going to win.
Oh, that's cool.
That was right when For the Empire started.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. No, it's I miss that kind of thing. And we were also just last week talking about, they used to do this thing called March Madness for a couple of years in a row, about 4 years in a row. And it was just this thing on StarWars.com. You had to vote for your favorite character every day or something, or every few days. It would, you would get the results back, and you'd have to then vote for your favorite character in the new matchup. And it was just kind of it was predictable, but it was kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like, it was just,
we were speculating that all the original trilogy characters won every year.
Yeah, and it happened. Our 4 winners were Luke, Yoda, Vader, and
did Obi-Wan win?
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Was it Alec Guinness or was
no?
it?
I think that
Sith?
I think they always did Ewan.
Okay, yeah.
They always used the latest depiction of a character.
Anakin didn't win.
Well, they used Vader.
Oh, you didn't enter both.
They didn't separate them as one. It's one character.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
With the way the fandom's gone recently, do you think it would stay the same if they were to restart that now?
It's a good question. I feel like there's certainly be a lot more competition.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more varied opinions than 10 years ago.
Yeah. There's also a lot more characters to potentially consider because, of course, as predictable as the outcomes were, they were still putting, Rebels was new at the time.
That's right.
And they were putting in characters from Rebels in the mix, and of course they all lost, but it was it's like they're up against like Luke and Chewbacca.
That's
and
it, right?
Who are you going to vote for?
But now that there's more feature films.
Yeah, it would be really,
as you said, The Mandalorian's now a household name.
Right.
So it could be that Grogu would win.
100%. Like, yeah, right. I would really like to see that. Like, who would win, Yoda or Grogu? you know, like in a popularity contest, like, you know, like you might get like the hardcore old school Star Wars fans voting for Yoda, but then you might have like this wave of new Star Wars fans like voting for Grogu or something.
It's definitely possible for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Pong Krell's got a real chance this time around.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's definitely a more interesting when you start to consider like those kinds of characters too. Like if they didn't use any popular characters and it's like, hey, like this week it's like this. It's like I don't know, like
the B wave, like a B wave action.
Yeah, like a Hondo. Actually, well, I mean, maybe Hondo's like an A-list now. Yeah, like okay, so maybe
he's like B plus.
Maybe like Savage Press, and I don't know, like Vizago or something.
Oh man, what's the guy who was part of the ISB?
Yeah, Callus.
Yeah, put Callus in there.
Yeah, Hot Callus.
Oh, Callus versus Savage would be a very interesting matchup.
That's true.
That would be an interesting one. Yeah, you remember that whole Hot Callus movement?
No,
you don't remember this?
I don't remember that.
Got enough Hot Callus we need to talk about.
Oh, come on.
All right, fine. You want to talk about Hot Callus?
Who doesn't want to talk about Hot Callus?
We knew he had to change his look. We knew that it had to be something that was still recognizably Callus, but also different.
I think I was the one that did the design for end of season 3, where he's just got that little bit of hair. And then that kind of progressed, I think, on every iteration of Callus. Like the hairstyle is just getting a little bit more relaxed.
That was really the inspiration for what became Hot Callus, which was he just literally let his hair down. He stopped using the Imperial product and just let it get shaggy.
One of the things I like to think the animation team added to it was like the little hair pieces on the side. We always made sure just have a little bit of movement in them. And
besides the hair, the idea of a guy who's like, I was completely wrong and I'm turning it around and doing the right thing.
It's pretty hot.
That's pretty attractive.
It's almost as if he joined the rebellion and got a better stylist. These warm tone colors, these earth tones are better for him.
His complexion.
Yeah, they're better for him. David's aware of it. David O.
Well,
he's
I
aware.
think, it wouldn't be Hot Callus without David's beautiful voice.
As David will tell you, 90% of the hotness is the voice.
We first showed an episode and Dave finally saw him, and they actually in a tutorial cut together a reel with music coming in as he was walking, and we sort of left that there for a while, and it was so hilarious to just see him just like, you're like, wow, he really does look good.
I think it was like Andy Gutierrez or someone on the Rebels Recon.
They called him Hot Callus?
I think so. Or it was like some response to a tweet or something that they found really funny. And I just remember, seeing a lot about it at the time. And
That's pretty
funny.
I did not know about this.
There was some GIFs and some memes. And yeah, if you look up Star Wars Hot Callus.
Now watch this just be, Josh has spent like months and months seeding this just to mess with us.
People are after that Topps trading card.
Of course.
What is it? Rule 34.
What's that again?
What's that rule? Rule 34 of the internet.
Oh man, I forget all the rules in the internet.
Okay, well, I'll explain later.
There was a little piece of side news here I wanted to bring up. Do you remember we talked to a lovely guest earlier was it this year or I think it was last year? Our guest Molly.
Last year.
Last year. It was already last year. Time flies, man. Well, there's an update for the Disney's abandoned Galactic Starcruiser, and she was the person that popped in my head when I read this article, of course. But
she did work there, so that makes sense.
Yeah, great episode for anyone who hasn't listened to it. If you want to kind of get to know the digs on,
link in the description.
Yeah,
just give Josh some more work.
I'll try to remember to link it down there. But yeah, it says I'll read this article off. This is from allears.net, so take it with a little bit of a grain of salt there, but. They write, it's been almost 2 years to the day since Galactic Starcruiser had its final voyage and closed its doors. The final excursion for guests took place September 28th to the 30th of 2024, and the building has remained closed ever since, leaving many guests wondering what would happen to it. Would it become a modified hotel experience, allowing guests to explore the epic areas without the same live entertainment factor that made the cruise, so to speak, so unique, but also as expensive as it was? Unfortunately, no. Back in January 2025, Disney announced that the incredible space would be converted into offices for Disney Imagineering, and a permit for that construction was filed in late August. Now, construction is officially beginning, but what does that look like so far? A recent photo from at BioConstruct on X, formerly Twitter, shows an aerial view of what the building looks like currently. While we can see what appears to be some building materials outside, it seems that any work so far is taking place inside, which makes sense. As much as the conversion may occur on the inside, we're not sure how much outdoor construction we'll see at this time. The permit for this construction transformation was filed back on August 27th and lists the project as Project H. The permit comes with a 1-year expiration and is assigned to Balfour Beatty Construction, which is a majority contractor that Disney often works with on large-scale projects. When Disney announced to the public why this particular offering didn't work out, Chairman Josh D'Amaro noted that while the Starcruiser represented a creative leap forward, it didn't work commercially. That part's in quotes. We also learned previously that Walt Disney Imagineering will be using the building as a hub for several expansion projects coming to Disney World. Sources also say that several playtests were conducted in that part of the old Starcruiser building, with cast members filling in for paying guests. But the tests would be for a potential dining experience in the theme park, not in Starcruiser building itself. So it's possible we could see some resemblance to the Starcruiser return someday, but it would be on a much smaller scale and very likely wouldn't be the hotel cruise type offering that we saw not work out here. As Disney has said, this will work as a hub for Imagineers working on Disney's upcoming projects. We can only imagine that many discussions about Villains Land or Piston Peak lands coming to Magic Kingdom, as well as the new Tropical Americas in Magic Kingdom and Monsters Inc. land coming to Hollywood Studios, will be held in these offices. And that's where the article ends. But you have been to Disney World with me.
I have.
And we have also not together in Florida, but separately enjoyed the experience of Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
And we both thought it was pretty nice.
Yeah,
and
it was really immersive. They did a good job.
Very immersive. Yeah, and Kirk is experiencing his first time right now as we speak. And
is he still there?
He is.
Has he been there for like several weeks?
Yeah, so he is now in Florida. He is now finished.
Or is it the other one?
He's finished. Yeah, he's now in Florida at Universal Studios. He finished up there today. He did 2 out of the 3 parks, and now he's going back to Walt Disney World tomorrow for Hollywood Studios, and they're going to experience Galaxy's Edge in Florida now, and he'll be able to make the comparison with California. But that one is, of course, the exact same. It's just smaller.
Carbon copy, right?
Right. With the exception now, this is where this article comes in, of the Galactic Starcruiser experience, which was only being built up in Florida at the time, right? And now knowing Disney, if anything is a success, they'll make another one and then duplicate their revenue on that thing. But that's obviously not going to happen with Galactic Starcruiser. So when they say this is potentially becoming a partial experience once again for guests to sort of explore, I actually thought that was kind of interesting and just to amuse the idea, because I think when we talked with Molly about Galactic Starcruiser, she actually said how the guests were sort of always immersed, like when they were in the experience, always, all the time, you're in this world, right? And then there's of course, the day that you optionally can go into Galaxy's Edge. And without breaking immersion, they had you in this sort of simulated shuttle experience.
Yeah, they put you into a blacked out van, basically.
Yeah, and it was like the inside was made to look like a shuttle.
Yeah.
Like a Star Wars shuttle with like simulated windows and all that. Mm-hmm. But the actual vehicle that you were riding on, I guess, was either a van or was it a van or some sort of like...
It's just some sort of... a good description is a van, because it's just like a blacked out vehicle.
Right. So I can't remember exactly if it was like a van, like 100% just like this is a vehicle on wheels, or if it was like something on a track or what. But either way, they managed to be able to get guests from Galactic Starcruiser to Galaxy's Edge through those doors that open up next to where Kylo Ren's shuttle is. Like there's like a sort of a hangar bay looking set of doors somewhere along that wall, and that's where people could come and go from the Galactic Starcruiser experience. And
so that's only in Florida,
right? Exactly. So I guess what would be really neat is if they did manage to turn some of it into this restaurant, especially that open lobby area where they did the stage, like Rey and Kylo Ren fighting on the
right.
That upper ramp area. And, they would, like, if they kept all that intact and made it sort of an extension of Galaxy's Edge and then just had some kind of other experience happening in that space, minus all the crew rooms and the guest rooms, which are now being turned into office spaces, right? Like that main section could still be very valuable asset to the park and provide some kind of interesting thing. So like, what would you like to see kind of like go in there if they made that an extension of the park?
I would love to see decorated like as an abandoned ship that you could explore, like a Halloween haunted house situation.
Okay, all right,
that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of neat. Yeah, Darian, what are your thoughts on that? What would you like from a reused asset like Galactic Starcruiser?
So we've all played laser tag. Why can't they just give us like a lightsaber version of that where you got to go through like an adventure?
I see so much fun with this, but also so much high risk of people getting just
kids
whacked
crying.
in the face. Man, that sounds amazing though.
I am an agent of chaos.
Running around a
8-year-olds.
building, smacking other guests with a lightsaber. Sign
Use
me
the
up.
force to pick up some kid.
I was thinking just regular laser tag when you started at that point. But.
Yeah, have to bring the lightsabers.
No, I have to take it to a dark place.
It's like, guns with light. Nah.
No.
Airsoft
lightsabers. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it could be interesting to see what they do with it. I think it would be kind of a waste of a lot of creatively designed material if they just turned the entire building into an office and scrapped all the
feels like such a waste.
It does, it does, because on the one hand, like, okay, they admitted it, like it doesn't work financially for them to continue doing this. It was a bold idea, but like there's just no way at that price point that
was the issue.
People couldn't keep up with that.
Well, I don't know if it was like because of investment costs or running costs.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of costs, right? And running an experience like that, like you have
so many trained actors, basically.
Oh yeah, you have people
24 hours a day.
People to pay. You have best class theme park quality food. To serve 3 meals a day for all these people on board. It's a machine, right? Like it's an operating machine, and it's just I don't know if their return was that great. Like,
apparently recently there's been a few people coming forward saying that it was actually really making headway and it was profitable. It took a little while to get going, but it actually went off faster than they were expecting.
Interesting.
I thought there was a big drop off of attendance.
I thought so too. I keep hearing two different things. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what happened, but it is a shame. At the end of the day, it's like it's a shame that this thing didn't succeed because
it's such a cool idea. I think a lot
Carnage aside.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. Carnage aside, I'm surprised they haven't filmed anything there because it's a giant film set.
Right.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't film Acolyte there.
Yeah,
it's basically just a free set
because it's supposed to be that's the whole thing. It was supposed to be a High Republic era ship, right? Like that was part of the selling point of the multimedia High Republic series that they were doing was like, hey, there's also this thing in Disney parks that's like from this time period.
Characters from
So like
trilogy.
Yeah, so like it's been around that long.
Okay,
like it's like a cruise ship that's been it's like a luxury cruise ship that's been around in Star Wars. Like,
so was it inside? Time. Was it all like worn out?
No, it's been up. I don't know if you've been on like a like a cruise ship that's like 20, 30 years old. That's not that old, I guess, but it's like they keep them up pretty well. Like they replace the carpets and they polish the banisters and like it's like okay, it's like it doesn't feel like super new, but it's like it doesn't doesn't necessarily feel like ancient, right? And then Star Wars, like nothing ever seems to change. Like ships and stuff are all kind of the same.
Refurbished.
Like on the inside, it's like they're all kind of the same. So if it's designed to be luxury back, in Star Wars history somewhere, it's probably the same as a modern luxury Star Wars ship. Do you know what I mean?
Did either of you plan to go on the Starcruiser?
No, I like at that price point, I was just like, I would rather take that same money and spend 2 weeks in the park, because that's what it equaled out to at the time. This was a couple years ago when they launched the project, and the prices have since inflated a lot at Disney parks, but at the time, I think, just to have the bare minimum group, you and maybe one other person in a room, I think it equaled out to like a full.
Was it like 4,000 USD or something?
It was something like, it was basically the equivalent of like a week and a half or two in just date, park passes, basically. Something like that. It was it's kind of surreal, but of course you get your meals covered, and you have your hotel as well.
And how many days was the whole
thing?
that
was the thing. It was like, it's only a 2-day,
right,
2-night experience or something like that, right? So I think that's what really kind of tripped me. Like if it might be different if it was like a week-long thing, because people do go on cruises for a week or two.
It'd be like an actual cruise, basically.
Yeah, but I think because it was only like a 2-night experience type thing, it's like, wow, this is blink and you miss it type thing. So it's kind of hard to justify at that point.
I would have also been more tempted if it was in, like, say, the original trilogy era.
Oh,
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
for sure. I think
we talked about that a lot.
We did,
at the time.
We did. Like, how much do you want to be in a hotel room that like gets attacked by the Separatist Alliance, or something like that?
That'd be a lot harder to pull off.
It would be way harder to pull off, but like
you're not going to fit a person inside a B1 or a Droideka.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like it is interesting. It is also interesting to think how much further they could have gone with this. Like, if they had deployable like fighters that you could get into, and they were mini Han Solo style ride simulators that you're like defending the Halcyon legacy, like in a little X-wing or something.
What you're saying is Disney should have put more money into it.
I think at that level, at that type of price point that you're targeting, it's like you got to make it a little bit longer, and you have to have it a lot more,
interactive,
infused with, yeah. And I mean, undoubtedly, I'm sure people had a great time, but I'm just thinking like at that level, you're already almost there. It's like, why not just like
go all the way?
Go all the way.
Yeah.
Go all the way.
That'd be pretty neat. Fly out in like
crazy.
An X-wing or something to face against the Empire.
They have the technology to do it. Like the Han Solo ride is that. Like it's basically just it's Star Tours, but you're driving it, right? And so if they did that, but made that experience exclusive to the Halcyon Legacy, then it's not just a hotel 2-night experience sort of ordeal. Now it's now I'm getting access to rides that otherwise I wouldn't be able to get access to, or something like that, right? It just adds some more extra appeal to it.
Well, that was part of the bridge experience, right? Because you get to do different stations, and they kind of had like a gunnery station, shields, navigation, communications, all that. So that was part of that idea.
The
but
Falcon ride, right? We're talking about?
No, on the Halcyon. If part of your adventure was like, it was a live action role play idea for the whole weekend.
Right.
And you go through bridge training, and then when you finish your bridge training, the First Order attacks you, and you have to actually run the ship during their attack.
Yeah,
I've forgotten about all this.
Well, all the windows were like simulated as if you were in space, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it definitely kept you in that immersive environment. But yeah. And then I think there was one room in the ship that was like supposed to be a simulated room, like by their standards, but it was actual daylight, and it was
that was the climate simulator.
Yeah, the climate simulator,
Right.
and it was like the only room on the ship that you could go that was like a window and fresh air, for people who were like, okay, I've had enough.
A break.
Who needed a break, but of course, I mean, like, I don't. That was definitely there as like okay, here's what we do in the event that someone is getting a little indoor fatigued, right?
Right.
And I think that was a great idea. They had like plants in there and stuff and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think worked about it. I think there's just a few things that didn't, and that's what kind of collapsed the whole thing.
And there's multiple storylines you could follow, right? Like you could.
Oh yeah.
And I think
I think there was 6 major paths, but there was tons of little variations on them, and you could switch between them.
Yeah.
Also, if everyone in your room went first order path, you would actually unlock extra stuff where normally even other first order people wouldn't have access to it. It was such a great system. I wanted to go to it so bad. I had actually saved for like 2.5 years to go.
Oh man,
dang! Then you didn't end up going because it shut down.
No, because the day I went to get my passport was the day they announced the closure.
Oh my gosh, dude! I didn't know that. Dang.
Yeah, I had all of my paperwork in my truck. I was going after work, and that's when on the radio they announced that Disney was closing it.
Oh, that is a heartbreaking story. I mean, like, wow. Yeah, no, that's a shame. I mean, did you end up at least
going to the parks?
Going to the parks to do Galaxy's Edge or something?
No, I bought that truck.
Gotcha.
Fair. That's practical.
Yeah. That's very practical.
Yeah,
but
I figured it was more important to get to and from work.
Probably.
That's fair.
But man, that hotel experience would have been sweet.
Would have been pretty sweet, yeah.
Because that's probably my biggest regret is that now you can't do it. So kind of wish I'd been able to try it.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of things that ever come up. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, and I think that's where what they were thinking when they kind of made it that price point as well, because they're like, who else offers this? Nobody. You know, like we can definitely do whatever we want. Like, which is like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's almost like the first step of Westworld.
100%.
That was actually part of their behind the scenes. That's what people were talking about.
Oh,
this is the first thing to Westworld.
Yeah.
But even working on the web series and stuff like we did, at no point did you forget you weren't on a set, because our sets were pretty amazingly done. They were very big, actually. We've been told that our sets are bigger than the official ones.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure that's true.
Just for Bucketheads you're talking about?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It was cool, but like everybody that went on the Halcyon said that being in that environment, even though you know it's not real, you constantly forget that it's not real.
Interesting.
It's just that full immersion, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like brief moments where you're like, oh yeah, I don't really live in Star Wars. And as a lifelong Star Wars fan, even though it's the time period I don't want to see, you really can't put a price on that for me.
Right.
That's fair.
That is fair. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you know, obviously a lot of people like were able to say the same and enjoy it and everything. So I am envious that they got to do it, to be honest. Like, you know, everyone who got to do it's like, wow, like, I mean, good for you, you know, like that is definitely something that you can say you've done, that
it'll be a story that no one else will be able to replicate.
Yeah.
So you can tell people, you know, take it to their grave.
Right. Yeah, totally. All right. I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. We're just going to run through stuff coming out this month in October, because you know, I feel like it's I feel like a broken record when I say, like, you know, it's a bit of a dry spell for Star Wars, but you know, it is and it isn't. You know what I mean? Like, we always find a chance to come together and have a good chat and talk Star Wars, and that's enough, right?
We just got a new Lego Star Wars series.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lego, Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past, and that's kind of the next thing up here on the roster. We watched the first 2 parts together, and then you were able to finish it, and I'm still working my way through. But like, what can you share about how you liked it, and maybe some of the Lego sets that are available based on this thing? I'll pull up a list.
Well, because
Time to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition. Here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod. I'm your host, Josh, and we have our co-host Blake joining us this week. We are going over the Visions Volume 3 trailer, as well as a few other things. that just popped up on the radar for this month in Star Wars, if you will. October 2025. Yeah, we're just going to be having some nice casual Star Wars chat as usual. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Another happy landing.
自分のこれからの人生も希望に彩られていると思っていた。逆に見えなくても信じられるものもある。全部つながってるんだ。
どうしましょう。
そして死ぬな。それだけだ。
やっつけよ
フォースの根源銀河系のあらゆる生命をつなぐエネルギーとは
光と闇のしてはバランスは存在しない。
私はどうしたら。
フォースと共にあらんこと。
Welcome back.
Ahoy! It looked like there's some sequel storylines in there. Am I crazy? I thought I recognized some stuff from previous Visions series.
Yeah, I mean, and you would be right. There is 2 sequel episodes in this volume 3 to some of the episodes that we saw in season 1, I believe. So let's actually let's run through them here. In the meantime, before I pulled the list, like how did you respond to Visions Volume 1 and 2 when those came out?
I mean, I definitely enjoyed watching them. I certainly had preferences to some over others, and I guess I was part of a common opinion because my favorite one is the one that's getting the miniseries, so which I'm pretty excited about. That's gonna be super cool. It's like Seventh Jedi or something, right?
Yeah, the Ninth Jedi.
Ninth Jedi.
Yeah. So the first one on the list is the Duel Payback, and that was like the prominent one from Volume 1 that really received.
I think it was the first one of the series, actually.
I think so. That was the one that really spearheaded the series in general, just like artistically. That was the one that they played a lot of the trailer of.
Right.
That was the one at the Japan Star Wars Celebration this past year. People could buy the Celebration exclusive 6-inch series, you know,
and characters from it.
Yeah, and it was like the exclusive box of like the main guy and his droid, and you know. So that's getting a sequel episode. That's Kamikaze.
I can see that. I thought I recognized the Twi'lek in that as well. It must be the.
Yeah, I forget. I honestly I need to watch all those again. Like all the Vision episodes. Like I need to go through all those again because it's been way too long. But the second episode on the list is called The Lost Ones. The other sequel that you're referring to is The Ninth Jedi Child of Hope. That one's by Production IG. Yuko's Treasure, The Smuggler, The Bounty Hunters, The Song of Four Wings, The Bird of Paradise, and the final episode's called Black. So
one of them had very Mega Man feels.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's the Song of Four Wings. If I was to take a guess.
I mean, the clip we saw was a girl with a jetpack, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Well, it was an X-Wing. She was like, she was the X-Wing.
It's 4 wings.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was an X-Wing.
Yeah, it was, I think, playing into that Transformers sort of Mega Man Voltron sort of thing.
Okay.
Someone's probably shaking their head right now. Like,
right.
this guy knows nothing. I don't know. I don't know exactly like what it was like playing into precisely, but it certainly looked like she had a suit that transformed into
kind of like
an
auto
X-wing.
Came onto her and turned her into a bit of a
kind of, yeah.
Was that an X-wing that she just had like a jetpack?
It reminded me a bit of like
battle armor.
Starscream from Transformers, where he like jumps up and like and then fires off as like a jet fighter type thing. Like,
it did have that, but before that, when the suit was like flying and attaching to her, it reminded me more of Iron Man.
Like in all the pieces.
Yeah, the later one where they automatically fly and attach to them.
Yeah, I can see that. Man, there's so much stuff in this trailer. It's kind of hard to unpack, honestly. Like
action packed.
Well, because it's an anthology series, like it's really hard to kind of take it in as which one's which and what are we looking at, and
I think
all of them are very
is like arts, going by art style.
Yeah, and
they're all pretty different stylistically.
Definitely 100% the dual payback is the black and white ones.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see some Ewoks showing up in that one. I feel like the duel in general was like still very faithful to original Star Wars designs, other than the weapons. Like the lightsabers are crazy.
They're very crazy, yeah.
But then like a lot of the other stuff was fairly...
Was an umbrella lightsaber.
Yeah, it was like. Yeah.
And this one, I think she had like an arm guard with spider legs holding lightsabers.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we got a shot of a Wookiee holding up an Ewok in this one, and man, all of these different episodes. So for someone who's never seen Star Wars Visions before, it is not canon. It is not designed to fit into the existing Star Wars lore or mythology as what you know it to be. But they are rather a collection of short films, all inspired by Star Wars, done by Japanese and international anime studios, using the Star Wars inspiration and designs and music to create their own story, however they want it to be, right? And they're completely creatively in charge of doing so. So with that in mind, you get some crazy like outcomes. Some crazy results out of that. And
we had a story about a kid who wanted to be in a rock band and play for Jabba's palace.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What there was a song that was like a pretty like, I don't know, that song slapped pretty hard. Like
I don't remember the music.
This is it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, this is it.
Most of them didn't have rock music. So.
Right.
Played live at Jabba's palace. One night only.
Featuring Max Rebo as our opener.
So I have a playlist called Warzone Drops, which
is this song in it?
No, but I'm adding it to it right now. So I don't know. Are you familiar with my Warzone Drops playlist?
No, but I immediately know what it's for.
So as you can probably guess, it's whenever we decide to pop in a Warzone or Fortnite or any battle royale, and
where you're flying,
and we're all so bad, but we just try it out, and I'll play the music over the Discord call, and we'll just listen to that.
Nice.
Yeah, turn off that terrible in-game music, and it's awesome. I got some real bangers on that playlist.
Oh man,
Tatooine Rhapsody's one of them now.
It's funny because it autoplayed into this.
It autoplayed into Star Wars Eclipse
trailer, which I had entirely forgotten about.
Yeah, Bryce.
How long ago was that now?
Bryce was just talking about this
3 years ago. Man,
that is one of our backup topics today. So.
Is it? That's funny.
All right,
it is now, I guess.
It is. Okay, so Star Wars Visions comes out October 29th, later this month, which is very exciting because, anyone who's looking to do a bit of a Halloween Star Wars party or anything like that, you got something
dress up as your favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah, you got something to throw on, and that's kind of cool.
Do you remember those super cheesy Anakin and Obi-Wan masks and cheap costumes they would do during the 3D Clone Wars?
Oh yeah,
did you ever get one of those?
No, I see at the point of when Clone Wars was out, I was at the point of being a little too old for those kind of costumes.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it would have been extremely dorky if I had gotten one of those in like high school. Man. You know what I mean? But
I mean, you're such a big fan. Thought you would have went for it anyway.
I did make a clone trooper costume in grade 12 before the helmets got good.
Right, with the big wide lens.
Yeah, I had one of the full Captain Rex Phase 1 helmets from Hasbro.
Okay.
And it had the big, thick
I didn't know
visor.
They did Rex.
They did a Rex, yeah. Rex Phase.
I just remember the standard clone.
All right, so here it is. That one right there with the big, thick visor.
Yeah, that looks so goofy.
It looked so goofy, man. Like, I don't know why they did that. Like,
let's give you better vision when you're playing.
It is, but nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love the helmets nowadays. Like, you and I both.
The Hasbro Black Series ones?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I, of course, instantly bought Rex Phase 2 as soon as it came out. It was just like, at that point, it was just like I don't know.
Take my money.
I don't know if you ever get this feeling when you buy something of like that's Star Wars based, but it's destiny. Like it's just like it's more so it's like it's a tax. You know how you pay your taxes every year, and it's just like
you have a Star Wars tax.
You don't even. Well, actually, furthermore, at least where we're from, you don't really need to go out of your way when you get paid from your job, typically because the taxes are already removed, right? Like
unless you're running your own business.
Unless you're running your own business, but I think the majority of people can probably relate to getting a paycheck, taxes are already taken off, and you get some at the end of the year.
If you work for a company, they generally do that for you.
Yeah. So
and then you end up paying too much, and then government sends you a rebate at the end of the year.
Right. So that's the status quo for a lot of people. And I feel like it's like, okay, well, I already pay my taxes, right? When this helmet came out, it was like, oh, you've already made me make that purchase. Like, it was like, you already have my money. When is it going to arrive at my door?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like a tax.
For you and Rex,
like,
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, as soon as they come out with a Phase 2 Rex helmet, it's like, well, there goes that money.
They can charge anything and you'll be paid for it.
There it goes. Out the door.
Is there anything else that would fall under that? They're running out of helmets now, right? Unless they start doing more of the obscure ones.
Well, we can actually take a look at the whole list right here.
If they get into the obscure ones, I'm pretty excited about the tank trooper from Rogue One.
Oh man, well I think they're getting really close because they do have a shore trooper now.
Oh yeah, if they're doing that, that's probably the next biggest one.
I definitely posted it.
And then there's like there's like a one-off helmet from Solo with it's like a Corellian speeder bike cop helmet. It's like very specific.
Right. So the most recent ones is that is Moff Gideon from Mandalorian Season 3 and the Stranger from The Acolyte.
No, next to it. Oh, the Stranger. Yeah.
So the ones that have yet to come out are Commander Cody Phase 2, which
cool.
I did hear whispers that is now finally entering the US as far as distribution.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet with the 501st markings on it.
Man, it took a long time to get around to the Death Trooper.
Yeah, the Death Trooper will eventually be a thing next year.
This one came out.
The Shore Trooper is already out, and the Armorer from The Mandalorian is out. That one's already out.
That one's been out for a while.
That one's been out for, like maybe a year or something.
Have we looked into the quality of the Shore Trooper? Because I know some of these are kind of hit and miss.
I know that the Armorer has not been highly regarded.
It's because it's got that gold. That gold.
Someone did a comparison with the Stranger helmet and the Armorer helmet, and the Stranger turned out better than the Armorer did. But that being said, our Mandalorian helmet, our Din Djarin helmet, turned out really well, and that's got a shiny finish on it too. So
that's true.
I think it's kind of hit and miss.
It's not a full chrome though.
No, it's not. No,
it's like a matte metal.
Yeah,
finish, a brushed metal.
Right.
It's one of those situations where I feel like they're gonna go for like a cheap plastic finish. You know what I mean? When they do like that.
Yeah.
It's gold. It's like a gold.
Yeah.
Mold of plastic.
It's a hard one to lock down for sure. But yeah, the tank trooper would be a pretty sweet one to do. Seeing as they've done the shore trooper now, this one, it's specifically the shore trooper from Andor.
It's not.
The box has the Andor label on it. Anytime you buy any of the Hasbro sets, they always have in the colored stripe that goes across the box on the image, they always have the movie or the show that it's represented from. So on the Vader helmet, the new 2.0 one, it's represented from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, whereas the original one over here, it's got one of those older boxes, and they previously didn't always do that, but this is from Empire Strikes Back, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah,
because the Short Trooper from Rogue One has like some blue on the top, doesn't it? Blue around here.
I think it's kind of. I think they're all kind of the same. There is some of them have like little logos on them. I think one of them does have like it's like a red painted logo on the forehead on the other side.
Okay.
I don't really know the details of the comparison between Rogue One and the Andor Short Trooper, but this one is for if anyone really cares about the box. It does not say Rogue One on it. It says Andor. So yeah, just throwing it out there. However, the Death Trooper, I think, does say Rogue One.
Oh, really?
Across the stripe. Yeah, and you can usually tell based on the color. So Rogue One has all the action figures. If you look at the Rogue One action figure boxes, they all use like this teal. And Andor, they use this kind of orangey red.
You're
And
going to run out of colors eventually here.
Yeah, with Return of the Jedi, they always use bright green.
Yeah.
For the Ahsoka show, they do like a pale blue, kind of a navy pale blue. Mandalorian, they always use sort of a browny orange. And there's a few of the pictures on our list here that don't have the whole
box.
The box, and then the Clone Wars animated series is represented with orange strip across. That's their color that they use, I believe. But you can tell it's a blue helmet on the box, but it's got an orange stripe on it. And if you look over here at Carson Teva's helmet, it's the same color because they're both from the same series. So that way, if you line them up on the shelf, all the artwork on the side of the box that has the character represented, they actually match up. So if you have all the boxes in a row, it'll create sort of this panoramic image of all the characters.
Do you collect the boxes?
I recently threw all of my boxes out. I know. I've been holding on to them for
they take up so much space.
Way too long.
Yeah,
and
I did the same at one point.
And I thought to myself, you know what? It's time. It's time to we're clearing out. We're getting AC installed. We're clear. I just got to get rid of these boxes. So eventually I did part ways with the boxes. And, realistically, I'm like, why am I keeping the boxes? Because it holds the value. Realistically, am I ever going to sell these? Probably not.
No.
Right? Yeah. So what the heck? May as well just, forget it.
Your kids, when you pass away, will be upset because they'll be out extra cash selling all your stuff.
Yeah, that is true. Also, I just realized we have another guest joining us this episode. So welcome back, Darian. Hello, sir.
Sakurigar, how are you guys doing?
Doing good, thanks, man. Yeah, hopefully, I hope you weren't lingering too long. We're staring at a video and then an image, so we didn't see the call thing. But welcome back.
No worries. It actually wouldn't let me join tonight, so it took me a while.
Oh well, you're sounding great, and it's always great to have you back on. So, seeing as we're on the topic, do you collect any of these Star Wars helmets, or if not, like ones? The Black Series Hasbro replicas, or if not, like which one is kind of a more favorite of yours?
Right now, my favorite's got to be the Cody helmet. I'm really disappointed I didn't notice that come up. Or Rex. Actually, Rex is hands down my favorite clone helmet.
Oh man, did you get a copy of it yet?
No, I've been pretty broke. They've been cutting my hours at work, so I've been working multiple jobs.
I think that it's still pretty new, so it'll be available for a while.
That's actually the exact one that Josh said when it came out. Like, you might as well it's a Star Wars tax.
It's I don't know if you were there for that, but they had my money like as soon as they launched it. I was
as soon as the poster was there.
Yeah. But yeah, we got the full list in the general chat. I just poked it, so it's up at the top. But anyway, so we were previously to this, we got a bit sidetracked. We were talking a little bit about Visions Volume 3. What is it about Star Wars Visions that appeals to you?
I'm not really a big fan of anime, but I do love the concept that we're getting the same thing that Marvel was doing, where we can explore stories that are a what if in the Star Wars universe. To me, that is very exciting. I just wish it was a little less anime, personally.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. I guess with the Marvel one, they still have this what if scenario still ties into this Marvel multiverse, and in a universe somewhere it still happened, and it's still sort of Marvel multiverse canon in a way. But yeah, this one is very like for the Star Wars universe, where like fans are very very like, I guess sometimes a little strongly positioned in sort of like what's canon, what's not, and whatever, and somewhere everyone falls under this this what do you call it, like a spectrum somewhere about how much you care about that kind of stuff or not.
Your personal canon.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, as far as Visions is concerned, it's kind of taking the opposite direction in terms of like, well, we're making this without any consideration at all for who considers what canon, because we're just going to do what we want, and we're just going to tell the best story possible with whatever art style we want to do. And for Volume 2, there was actually some international studios that worked on Visions, which weren't specifically anime. There was that one from England, actually, who's mostly known for Wallace and Gromit. But they did a Star Wars one too, and that was kind of an interesting one. You got some pretty crazy, visual depictions of things sometimes, depending on which studio you're watching and how they approach their art form and stuff. But anime is not for everybody. It's certainly not really my thing.
It almost becomes like just an animation Star Wars film festival.
Yeah, it kind of does. In fact, it really does, and I almost kind of wish they harnessed that a bit more. I feel like they should do like a voting,
one?
like like pick your top 3, and then they give some sort of like Star Wars award to like that one. You know what I mean? Like, I think engaging with the fans on like a level like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Lucasfilm used to be a lot better with that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I believe they actually used to do exactly that.
Yeah, they used to do the Fan Film Awards.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
You could get lucky and get the George Lucas personal pick.
That's right.
There also was a group a couple of years ago that was basically doing that themselves. I believe the Bucketheads were asked to help decide who was going to win.
Oh, that's cool.
That was right when For the Empire started.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's I miss that kind of thing. And we were also just last week talking about, they used to do this thing called March Madness for a couple of years in a row, about 4 years in a row. And it was just this thing on StarWars.com. You have to vote for your favorite character every day or something, or every few days. It would, you would get the results back, and you'd have to then vote for your favorite character in the new matchup. And it was just kind of it was predictable, but it was kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like, it was just,
we were speculating that all the original trilogy characters won every year.
Yeah, and it happened. Our 4 winners were Luke, Yoda, Vader, and
did Obi-Wan win?
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Was it Alec Guinness or was
no?
it?
I think that
Sith?
I think they always did Ewan.
Okay, yeah.
They always used the latest depiction of a character.
Anakin didn't win.
Well, they used Vader.
Oh, you didn't enter both.
They don't separate. They didn't separate them as one.
Oh, gotcha,
it's one character.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
With the way the fandom's gone recently, do you think it would stay the same if they were to restart that now?
It's a good question. I feel like there's certainly be a lot more competition.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more varied opinions than 10 years ago.
Yeah. There's also a lot more characters to potentially consider because, of course, as predictable as the outcomes were, they were still putting, Rebels was new at the time.
That's right.
And they were putting in characters from Rebels in the mix, and of course they all lost, but it was it's like they're up against like Luke and Chewbacca.
That's
and
it, right?
Who are you gonna vote for?
But now that there's more feature films,
it would be really,
as you said, The Mandalorian's now a household name.
Right.
So it could be that Grogu would win.
100%. Like, yeah, right. I would really like to see that. Like, who would win, Yoda or Grogu? You know, like in a popularity contest, like, you know, like you might get like the hardcore old school Star Wars fans voting for Yoda, but then you might have like this wave of new Star Wars fans like voting for Grogu or something.
It's definitely possible for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Pong Krell's got a real chance this time around.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's definitely a more interesting when you start to consider like those kinds of characters too. Like if they didn't use any popular characters and it's like, hey, like this week it's like this It's like I don't know, like
the B wave, like a B wave action.
Yeah,
figures.
yeah, like a Hondo.
characters.
Actually, well, I mean, maybe Hondo's
Hondo would
like an
probably
A-list
win,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, like okay, so maybe
He's like B plus.
Maybe like Savage
A-.
Savage Press, and I don't know, like Vizago or something.
Oh man, what's the guy who was part of the ISB?
Yeah, Callus.
Callus, yeah, put Callus in there.
Yeah, hot Callus.
Oh, Callus versus Savage would be a very interesting matchup.
That's true.
That would be an interesting one. Yeah, you remember that whole hot Callus movement?
No,
you don't remember this?
I don't remember that.
Got enough hot callus we need to talk about.
Oh, come on.
All right, fine. You want to talk about hot callus?
Who doesn't want to talk about hot Callus?
We knew he had to change his look. We knew that it had to be something that was still recognizably Callus, but also different.
I think I was the one that did the design for end of season 3, where he's just got that little bit of hair. And then that kind of progressed, I think, on every iteration of Callus, like the hairstyle is just getting a little bit more relaxed.
That was really the inspiration for what became Hot Callus, which was he just literally let his hair down. He stopped using the Imperial product and just let it get shaggy.
One of the things I like to think the animation team added to it was like the little hair pieces on the side. We always made sure just have a little bit of movement in them. And
besides the hair, the idea of a guy who's like, I was completely wrong and I'm turning it around and doing the right thing. It's
pretty hot.
That's pretty attractive.
It's almost as if he joined the rebellion and got a better stylist. These warm tone colors, these earth tones
They're
are better
really
for
good
him.
on his complexion.
Yeah, they're better for him. David's aware of it. David O.
Well,
He's
I
aware.
think, it wouldn't be hot callus without David's
It
beautiful
wouldn't.
voice.
As David will tell you, 90% of the hotness is the voice.
we first showed an episode and Dave finally saw him, and they actually in editorial cut together a reel with music coming in as he was walking, and we sort of left that there for a while, and it was so hilarious to just see him just like, you're like, wow, he really does look good.
I think it was like Andy Gutierrez or someone on the Rebels Recon.
They called him hot callus?
I think so. Or it was like some response to a tweet or something that they found really funny. And I just remember, seeing a lot about it at the time. And
That's pretty
there was
funny. I did
some
not know
gifs.
about this.
There's some gifs and some memes. And yeah, if you look up Star Wars hot callus.
Now watch this just be, Josh has spent like months and months seeding this just to mess with us.
People are after that Topps trading card.
Of course.
What is it, Rule 34?
What's that again?
What's that rule? Rule 34 of the internet?
Oh man, I forget all the rules on the internet.
Okay, well, I'll explain later.
There was a little piece of side news here I wanted to bring up. Do you remember we talked to a lovely guest earlier was it this year? Or I think it was last year. Our guest Molly.
It was last year.
It was already last year.
Might have been.
Time flies, man. Well, there's an update for the Disney's abandoned Galactic Starcruiser, and she was the person that popped in my head when I read this article, of course. But
she did work there, so that makes sense.
Yeah, great episode for anyone who hasn't listened to it. If you want to kind of get to know the digs on,
link in the description.
Yeah,
just give Josh more work.
I'll try to remember to link it down there. But yeah, it says I'll read this article off. This is from allears.net, so take it with a little bit of a grain of salt there, but. They write, it's been almost 2 years to the day since Galactic Starcruiser had its final voyage and closed its doors. The final excursion for guests took place September 28th to the 30th of 2024, and the building has remained closed ever since, leaving many guests wondering what would happen to it. Would it become a modified hotel experience, allowing guests to explore the epic areas without the same live entertainment factor that made the cruise, so to speak, so unique, but also as expensive as it was? Unfortunately, no. Back in January 2025, Disney announced that the incredible space would be converted into offices for Disney Imagineering, and a permit for that construction was filed in late August. Now, construction is officially beginning, but what does that look like so far? A recent photo from at BioConstruct on X, formerly Twitter, shows an aerial view of what the building looks like currently. While we can see what appears to be some building materials outside, it seems that any work so far is taking place inside, which makes sense. As much as the conversion may occur on the inside, we're not sure how much outdoor construction we'll see at this time. The permit for this construction transformation was filed back on August 27th and lists the project as Project H. The permit comes with a 1-year expiration and is assigned to Balfour BD Construction, which is a majority contractor that Disney often works with on large-scale projects. When Disney announced to the public why this particular offering didn't work out, Chairman Josh D'Amaro noted that while Starcruiser represented a creative leap forward, it didn't work commercially. That part's in quotes. We also learned previously that Walt Disney Imagineering will be using the building as a hub for several expansion projects coming to Disney World. Sources also say that several playtests were conducted in that part of the old Starcruiser building, with cast members filling in for paying guests. But the tests would be for a potential dining experience in the theme park, not in Starcruiser building itself. So it's possible we could see some resemblance to the Starcruiser return someday, but it would be on a much smaller scale and very likely wouldn't be the hotel cruise type offering that we saw not work out here. As Disney has said, this will work as a hub for Imagineers working on Disney's upcoming projects. We can only imagine that many discussions about Villains Land or Piston Peak lands coming to Magic Kingdom, as well as the new Tropical Americas in Magic Kingdom and Monsters Inc. land coming to Hollywood Studios, will be held in these offices. And that's where the article ends. But you have been to Disney World with me.
I have.
And we have also not together in Florida, but separately enjoyed the experience of Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
And we both thought it was pretty nice.
Yeah,
and
it was really immersive. They did a good job.
Very immersive, yeah. And Kirk is experiencing his first time right now as we speak. And
is he still there?
He is.
Has he been there for like several weeks?
Yeah, so he is now in Florida. He is now finished.
Or is it the other one?
He's finished. Yeah, he's now in Florida at Universal Studios. He finished up there today. He did 2 out of the 3 parks, and now he's going back to Walt Disney World tomorrow for Hollywood Studios, and they're going to experience Galaxy's Edge in Florida now, and he'll be able to make the comparison with California. But that one is, of course, the exact same. It's just smaller.
Carbon copy, right?
Right. With the exception now, this is where this article comes in, of the Galactic Starcruiser experience, which was only being built up in Florida at the time, right? And now knowing Disney, if anything is a success, they'll make another one and then duplicate their revenue on that thing. But that's obviously not going to happen with Galactic Starcruiser. So when they say this is potentially becoming a partial experience once again for guests to sort of explore, I actually thought that was kind of interesting and just to amuse the idea, because I think when we talked with Molly about Galactic Starcruiser, she actually said how the guests were sort of always immersed, like when they were in the experience, always, all the time, you're in this world, right? And then there's of course, the day that you optionally can go into Galaxy's Edge. And without breaking immersion, they had you in this sort of simulated shuttle experience.
Yeah, they put you into a blacked out van, basically.
Yeah, and it was like the inside was made to look like a shuttle. Yeah. Like a Star Wars shuttle with like simulated windows and all that. Mm-hmm. But the actual vehicle that you were riding on, I guess, was either a van or was it a van or some sort of like...
It's just some sort of... a good description is a van, because it's just like a blacked out vehicle.
Right. So I can't remember exactly if it was like a van, like 100% just like this is a vehicle on wheels, or if it was like something on a track or what. But either way, they managed to be able to get guests from Galactic Starcruiser to Galaxy's Edge through those doors that open up next to where Kylo Ren's shuttle is. Like there's like a sort of a hangar bay looking set of doors somewhere along that wall, and that's where people could come and go from the Galactic Starcruiser experience. And
so that's only in Florida,
right? Exactly. So I guess what would be really neat is if they did manage to turn some of it into this restaurant, especially that open lobby area where they did the stage, like Rey and Kylo Ren fighting on the
right.
That upper ramp area. And, they would, like, if they kept all that intact and made it sort of an extension of Galaxy's Edge, and then just had some kind of other experience happening in that space, minus all the crew rooms and the guest rooms, which are now being turned into office spaces, right? Like that main section could still be very valuable asset to the park and provide some kind of interesting thing. So like, what would you like to see kind of like go in there if they made that an extension of the park?
I would love to see decorated like as an abandoned ship that you could explore, like a Halloween haunted house situation.
Okay, all right,
that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of neat. Yeah, Darian, what are your thoughts on that? What would you like from a reused asset like Galactic Starcruiser?
So we've all played laser tag. Why can't they just give us like a lightsaber version of that where you got to go like an adventure?
I see so much fun with this, but also so much high risk of people getting just
kids
whacked
crying.
in the face. Man, that sounds amazing though.
I am an agent of chaos.
Running around a
8-year-olds.
building, smacking other guests with a lightsaber. Sign
Use
me
the
up.
force to pick up some kid.
I was thinking just regular laser tag when you started that point. But
You have to bring the lightsabers out.
No, I have to take it to a dark place.
It's like, guns with light? No.
No.
Airsoft.
Lightsabers. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it could be interesting to see what they do with it. I think it would be kind of a waste of a lot of creatively designed material if they just turned the entire building into an office and scrapped all the.
It feels like such a waste.
It does, it does, because on the one hand, like, okay, they admitted it, like it doesn't work financially for them to continue doing this. It was a bold idea, but like there's just no way at that price point that
was the issue.
People couldn't keep up with that.
Well, I don't know if it was like because of investment costs or running costs.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of costs, right? And running an experience like that, like you have
so many trained actors, basically.
Oh yeah, you have people
24 hours a day.
People to pay. You have best class theme park quality food. To serve 3 meals a day for all these people on board. It's a machine, right? Like it's an operating machine, and it's just I don't know if their return was that great. Like
apparently recently there's been a few people coming forward saying that it was actually really making headway and it was profitable. It took a little while to get going, but it actually went off faster than they were expecting.
Interesting.
I thought there was a big drop off of attendance.
I thought so too. I keep hearing two different things. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what happened, but yeah, it is a shame. At the end of the day, it's like it's a shame that this thing didn't succeed because
it's such a cool idea. I think a lot
Carnage
of
aside.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. Carnage aside, I'm surprised they haven't filmed anything there because it's a giant film set.
Right.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't film Acolyte there.
Yeah,
it's basically just a free set
because it's supposed to be that's the whole thing. It was supposed to be a High Republic era ship, right? Like that was part of the selling point of the multimedia High Republic series that they were doing was like, hey, there's also this thing in Disney parks that's like from this time period.
Characters from
Yeah. So like
trilogy.
Yeah. So like it's been around that long.
Okay.
Like it's like a cruise ship that's been it's like a luxury cruise ship that's been around in Star Wars. Like
so was it inside?
Time.
Was it all like worn out?
No, it's been up. I don't know if you've been on like a cruise ship that's like 20, 30 years old. That's not that old, I guess. But it's like they keep them up pretty well. Like they replace the carpets and they polish the banisters and like it's like okay. It's like it doesn't feel like super new, but it's like it doesn't necessarily feel like ancient, right? And then Star Wars, like nothing ever seems to change. Like ships and stuff are all kind of the same.
Refurbished.
Like on the inside, it's like they're all kind of the same. So if it's designed to be luxury back, in Star Wars history somewhere, it's probably the same as a modern luxury Star Wars ship. You know what I mean?
Did either of you plan to go on the Starcruiser?
No, I like